Okay. Well, thank you. Obviously, it's been a very challenging 24 to 48 hours that we've gone through. We've had some significant precipitation numbers, anywhere from 1.5 inches in some places up to 5 inches of rain in some areas of Allegheny County. The good news is we've had no loss of life and no serious injuries to date, but we want people to still be very, very careful and vigilant because even though the rain has slowed down, it still was raining as I came out from town. The rivers are still rising, the creeks are still rising, and people need to be very vigilant. I also just want to say I really appreciate the great work that our public works and emergency services folks have been doing all throughout the evening and into yesterday, continuing to work. We know the call volume was up. We know the work that our public works department has had dealing with our municipal partners and helping them along the lines. It's my understanding we still have a number of county roads that are closed, and they will get to the details of those in just a minute. We're going to hear from Chief of Emergency Services, Matt Brown, who manages this facility where we're at right now, our 911 call center and other activated operations that we have. And then Steve Shanley, Director of Public Works, his road crews and folks have been out as well, making sure that we keep things as safe as we can. So let me turn it over first to Chief Brown to give an update on where things are and any recommendations we want to continue to get to the public over the next 24 to 48 hours. Chief?
Thank you, Executive Fitzgerald. First of all, you are in our Emergency Operations Center. We are active now. We activated as of 8 a.m. this morning, not only in person but in virtual capacity, so we could work closer with all of our municipal partners and other county agencies. That communication has worked very well, and we're very thankful for all those partners and all those first responders who have been out, quite frankly, for about the last 48 hours, not only preparing but responding to emergencies and keeping everybody safe. As the executive had said, rainfall is slowly dissipating. It's not completely done. However, the damage is already done as you look at how much rain has come down. And as mentioned, the rivers, the creeks, the streams are still rising. They're rising rapidly. We are working very closely with our partners at the National Weather Service Pittsburgh to get almost hour-to-hour updates. Our latest update was a very good one related to river crests. We were particularly worried about the Monongahela and the Allegheny, and as of our noon update, it looks like those river crests have dropped significantly. So I don't want to say that we're in the clear because we're not. The rivers are still going to rise quick. They are still going to hit action stages and maybe lower to moderate flood stages. They're also going to drop quick. So any traffic on the river, boat owners, docks, barge activity, we've really got to watch that over the next 24 to 36 hours, and certainly watching our partners at the Coast Guard, the Waterways Association. They're doing a fantastic job watching that so far. Our EOC will remain in service, watching for any unmet needs, working with our municipal partners. We've got 3 municipalities currently that have put in disaster declarations, Bridgeville, Millville, and Scott Township. A few others that are considering it or drafted for that. There were several flooded areas that were evacuated as a result of rising water, and a few rescues by our swift water teams, but mostly to assist evacuations in some of those low-lying areas. Our big focus moving forward again is to caution everybody to watch the rise of these rivers, creeks, and streams. Particularly if you live near them, you really need to be paying attention to the updates. You may need to evacuate those areas as the rivers continue to rise. And we'll be paying particular focus to this afternoon's rush hour. Schools letting out buses with children returning home. There's still a lot of travel restrictions out there. So again, I want to really heed the warning to the public. We're not out of the woods just yet. Make sure that we're using all the caution. And then lastly, really to the public, as the executive had mentioned, our call volume was probably greater earlier yesterday evening than it was overnight into today. I'm hopeful and I'm pretty positive that's really because they've heeded the warnings. It's apparent to me that there were preparations made and people were making sure that they were keeping out of harm's way. So we're very thankful to the public because again, it can be very dangerous for our first responders to go out there as well. That's all the updates that I have. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Director Shanley. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Brown. Our crews have been busy throughout the night and into this morning and still working now. We had 15 roads that have been closed, and we're down to 4 now. So we'll be tweeting out that information following up this presentation here. Also, our crews have been working to clean out any culverts or inlets along the roads, try to maintain them throughout this storm. They've been diligent in their efforts, and we're grateful for the work they're doing. If there are any emergencies, trees down, power lines down, or flooding on any roadways, we request that you would call 911 if it's an emergency situation. Any other situations on county facilities, call 412-350-INFO, and we will try to address that issue as soon as possible. We'll be assessing our roads and our bridges following the storm and seeing what we can do to make any improvements on any issues that we have on our roadways. Thank you.
Thank you, Director, both of you really, and your teams for what they've been doing and continuing to do throughout this process. As Chief Brown said, we have 3 municipalities, Bridgeville, Oakdale, and Scott, that have declared a state of emergency to this point. We're also grateful that the Red Cross is assisting us with some shelters, active shelters in Ross, Etna, and Bridgeville. As mentioned, we have 4 of the roads that are closed in Baldwin, Blackburn Road and Waterworks Road in Sewickley Heights, and McGee Road in Sewickley Hills. And again, it's not over yet, so we don't know all of what may continue to happen as these creeks and streams do continue to rise. We also have not, fortunately so far, have not had any reports of landslides, which we know is a significant issue a while back with some of the rainfall that we've had. That's not to say that there won't be, and those things will continue to happen. But again, I really want to thank our dedicated employees who showed up, are continuing to be there to assist all of our folks in Allegheny County, our municipal partners, as well as PennDOT and others, to make sure we keep people as safe as we can. So with that, we'll open it up to any questions that you may have.
I just have one point of clarification. I think I heard one of you say that Millville will declare the disaster emergency and one of you said Oakdale.
That's a clarification for us. So we were notified by Oakdale verbally, but they have not submitted the written, so they're on our list. Officially, they're not declared until we actually get that written form. So Bridgeville, Millville, and Scott Township, we have the documentation for right now.
All right, nothing else?
Any knowledge of any water rescues that had to go on, anyone trapped in cars or had to be rescued from their homes or anything like that today?
There were a few, very few. The Swiftwater teams were more active in evacuating some of the low-lying, rapidly flooding areas than they were with making rescues from cars. There was very few of those, and again, I think a benefit to the public of heeding those warnings and staying out of those flooding areas.
All right, well, thank you very much, and stay tuned, and we'll continuing to put out information as conditions warrant. Thank you.